We already knew mounts would be coming to Soulframe eventually, so why did some of us get so excited over the TennoCon Warsong teaser? Yes, mounts are going to be awesome, but it's the story of this 90-second video that has me so hyped up for July, and to explain why, we've gotta talk about Soulframe Lore. Soulframe has an incredible story, but only part of it unfolds during the game's fables or story quests. The game wants you to wonder and explore, and everything from journal entries to item descriptions to literal writing on the wall will teach you more about the world and its history. But if you don't mind spoilers and just want to understand what's going on, here's what we know so far about Soulframe's main storyline. Soulframe begins with our character's birth. This is our mother, who appears to be a Dendrit Night Maiden. The Dendrit people are inhabitants of Midrath, the island where Soulframe Preludes takes place. Our mother's castle is under siege by the Ode, an alien race that wants to steal the resources of our planet, Alka. The Ode will eventually use something called the Spell Song to make everyone forget their past and believe that the Ode have always been there so that the people will not resist, even though the Ode are so alien they can't breathe Alkan air. But in this scene, they are still attacking Mother's castle, so she places us in this basket and hides us from the Ode. Somehow our basket ends up floating near a shore, and a kind beaver delivers us to Grandfa, another envoy who takes us in, raises us, and teaches us how to access the magic of our Fae bloodline. Yes, Fae bloodline. We have blue blood, being part Fae ourselves, and a blue right arm. When we access the power of one of our pacts, its magic manifests on our Fae-touched arm, taking the shape of the pact that we see in-game. Grandfa raises us as if we are his grandchild, although it's unclear whether or not he's our mother's father. All seems well until one day the Ode use a caged wolf pup as bait to capture us. Our captor is almost certainly Bayor, an envoy who is either taken over by the spell song or who has chosen to align with the Ode. We don't know much about his story yet, but thanks to him we are taken away to serve Lord Synod, the ruler of the Ode, and from here our memories are patchy at best. Lord Synod rules from the Sky Castle, a floating fortress that seems to be the Ode's base of operations. Presumably Synod used or attempted to use this spell song to subjugate our will, but it is possible that we were able to resist, at least in part. If this scene from the Wastebear is a vision of our past, then it seems Synod needed to use some other sort of magic to force us to obey. And if we were attempting to break free from Odin influence, that might explain how we get to this scene from the game's introduction, which could be some kind of punishment or another attempt at brainwashing. It's possible that we somehow escaped the Sky Castle, or perhaps the Ode believe they killed us, as we sometimes hear the Sinecure refer to us as a ghost. Our unconscious body washes up on the shores of Midrath, and we are revived by a moose Omen beast, one of the magical animal protectors of Midrath. And thus we are given a chance at redemption after whatever we might have done under the influence of the Ode. Now we must restore both the world of Alka and our own fragmented memories. Soulframe's main quests take us first to Orlick, who wants to recover the histories that the Ode tried to wipe out, and then in pursuit of the Torment Stag and Lady Diora. Lady Diora would have been a Dendrit Night Maiden, but the Ode made her forget herself with the spell song and then used her to corrupt Garen Rude, the Stag Omen beast. This scene here is especially relevant to our TennoCon trailer. Look at Lady Diora's face, especially the effect in her eyes. That's going to be relevant later. After returning Diora to her senses and cleansing Garen Rude, we are sent to look for Verminia, an extremely fashionable witch. She teaches us how to brew a potion that will disable the magic used by Nimrod, an Odin warrior enhanced by voltaics. Once we've learned how to beat Nimrod and thus thwart the Collector's attempts to bring resources from Alka to the Sky Castle, we are ready to taste the sap of the voicing trees of Wevetwood. These are magical singing trees whose sap both intoxicates and induces visions. What we see under the influence of the sap will set us in pursuit of the Wastebear. On our way to cleanse Bromius, another whiff of sap from the roots of Wevetwood trees gives us this vision of what might be our past, or perhaps a warning of a possible future, although I think it's most likely that this is a shameful memory we must confront, just as we help Bromius face his memories. With Bromius cleansed and the voicing trees of Wevetwood restored, we are finally caught up with Soulframe's main storyline so far. But this is definitely not all of Soulframe's story. The Steelsinger fable begins the story of Tuvalkane, and the wreck of Maestra Carmo in Preludes 14 will begin the story of a new ancestor. There's also the stories behind Soulframe's three factions, the Silent Rose, Alka's Children, and the Kith of Kings. But this video is focused on explaining the Warsongs trailer, so next we need to talk about the She-Wolf Snared, Oringals Fable. Oringal is the wolf omen beast, and after rescuing her and then her pups, she lets us choose one of her kin to care for. This wolf pup will eventually become our mount. Unfortunately, we were not able to save all of Oringal's pups. The runt of the litter is stolen away by whom we assume to be Beor. This character definitely has the same voice actor as the Ode-aligned envoy who previously captured us, so presumably it's the same person, and the description of the fable refers to the Beor's collector, which makes me wonder if the Beor was originally some kind of title, but we've recently heard the devs talk about Beor as if that's his name, and the name Beor is inscribed on the Paragon Greatsword, so this might have changed at some point during development. Anyway, Beor is this guy who once captured us and now has captured one of Oringal's pups and named her Nightling. Alright, so now we're caught up on what we need to know to understand everything DE teased in that Warsongs trailer. There's a lot more to Soulframe lore, so if you want another video talking about the story behind each of the factions or anything else we didn't cover here, let me know down in the comments. But for now, let's get back to this scene. This is our mother, and she is under the effects of the spell song. She has that same look in her eye that Diora had when she was under Odin control, so we're going to have to fight her to cleanse her and free her from Synod's influence. But here in our way is another wolf rider. This has to be Beor and Nightling. I cannot wait to find out what leads up to this encounter and to discover what our mother can teach us about Soulframe's story. Why did this Ode Inquisitor insist that we were family back in the game's opening? Was Beor trying to act as our sibling? Or perhaps father? Wait, is Beor our father? Will he try to tempt us to join his side? Did our mother know Lady Diora before she was taken by the spell song? Will it be possible to free Nightling and return her to Oringal? Or maybe bond with her ourselves? There are just so many exciting possibilities, and I cannot wait to find out where this story takes us. I love how DE structures their storytelling like an episodic series rather than one big movie with a static plot. Each update brings the next chapter, and we've seen in Warframe how this slow burn storytelling can create amazingly rich and compelling worlds. I am so ready to watch the next episode, and I hope you are too. Please let me know if you enjoyed this little foray into Soulframe's lore. I wanted to keep this short and sweet, just covering what you needed to know to understand the TennoCon trailer, but if you like this kind of content, let me know in the comments and maybe we can take a deeper dive into Soulframe's world building. And of course, we've got lots of changes coming up in Preludes 14, so subscribe if you want to see updated guides and builds as soon as I post them. Now I've got to go practice my headshots for when we finally get reunited with Beor, so until next time, happy hunting!